Brought to you by Southern Trust Home Services. Give us a call at 540-208-3425. Get into a Southern state of mind. Hey there, meteorologist Jamey Singleton here. This update bringing you a winter weather update here on April the 2nd. Now, for the immediate area, if you're watching me locally, that means the Virginia area, it's looking like this system grazes us. But I tell you what, 1 to 2 inches of snow in the Charlotte area, the Queen City here, earlier this morning, and that's from the system that you now see pulling off to the north into the east, and some development here off the coast of the Carolinas. This system, as I mentioned, will explode and is in the process of deepening even as we speak. Let me show you what's going on here on GR Earth, and the Blacksburg radar is down today, but you can see the trace amounts of snow that have been reported from Greensboro, Winston-Salem, as far east as the Burlington, North Carolina area, where we had sleet turning over the snow, and then to the south from Charlotte, even as far south as Rockingham, North Carolina, where they race, and where if you're going to the beach there, you meet Highway 1 right across almost near the border there of North and South Carolina, snowing earlier this morning. Now the moisture is pulling away. It's now moving into Virginia. We've got a lot of rain in eastern North Carolina. That is rain, by the way. And then for our area, a lot of moisture streaming north. I put out a post a little bit earlier. I do think the southeast part of the area from Danville east and the South Boston and Charlotte Courthouse, you stand a chance today, even maybe Farmville and Appomattox, of seeing some rain and or snow, maybe a sleet pellet or two through about 4 or 5 p.m. Roanoke, New River Valley, it's probably not going to happen because we've got some clearing taking place and actually temperatures are a bit warmer. We mentioned this will be an eastern and south central Virginia event. We've also got the problem with the sun getting higher if you're a snow lover in the sky, and the timing that allowed for Charlotte today to get the snow because it came in early in the day before the sun could get too high in the sky. So we're watching this continually. It's a very impressive system. For snow lovers, we're just waiting on it. I did get a report out of the, I think, Stokes County, North Carolina, just south of Stewart, of some snow falling there. And you can see some flurries trying to develop out across Floyd County, going up the spine of the Blue Ridge. So it's going to be the eastern part of the area and the extreme south east part of the area from South Boston into Brookneal and in the Charlotte Courthouse, and maybe even Farmville and South Hill getting in on some wet snow today that could coat the ground on the grassy areas if it falls heavy enough. And it looks like the reflectivities are such that we'll see that. So we've got several things going on. I want to show you too what's going on here on my other map here. I'm going to take this off for the moment, the blue that you see there, but this is the storm. It is deepening off the coast of Wilmington right now, where they are expecting 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, and just offshore up to hurricane force winds. The Outer Banks getting lashed right now with some very heavy rain. Winds are also increasing. Let's check out the wind gusts, see what's going on here. We've got winds gusting over 30 miles an hour with the driving rain there. And you can see on the backside of this, we've got the snow. Now, temperatures are marginally, cold enough for snow here across North Carolina. Of course, where it snows, it effectively pulls down colder air that's aloft. And so what that does is it allows for cooling to take place, because you've got air at 5,000 feet that's cold enough for snow, and when it snows or the moisture falls heavy enough, it tugs on the colder air aloft and it pulls it down to the ground. Plus, once you get a bit of a coating, which is the case in North Carolina, you can see all these reports here. I'll show them to you in a second in more detail from Greensboro to Charlotte. That acts as a blanket and helps keeps it a little bit colder there at the surface. But you can see how we're just on that western edge here of the snowfall. As I mentioned, it's right through here. Let me get rid of the METARs just for a second. It's right through here, and then areas to the east through about 4 or 5 p.m. That will see most of the snowfall across the region. So this is a big system. It continues to move up across the area, move up across North Carolina, and definitely expecting some big impacts along the shoreline. Outer Banks, again, overwash, heavy surf, coastal flooding, Highway 12. It's going to be a mess, and not the day to be on the beach from Virginia Beach southward into the Outer Banks as the system continues to wind up. Let's go in a little bit closer. Let me get rid of my telestrator here, and we'll go into the Western Piedmont, the Piedmont Triad. Now, the radar is having a hard time on its algorithm figuring out where it's snowing and where it's not. But the ground truth is certainly there. You've got light to moderate snow being reported in Greensboro, and that's the official National Weather Service observation there. You've got in Gibsonville, Guilford County, east of Greensboro, near I-40, light snow ongoing, currently not sticking to the ground. But in Burlington, I believe we had some sleet earlier. It's going back and forth between rain and snow. That's to be expected. Asheboro, snow sticking to the ground as far south as Asheboro. We mentioned this yesterday. The areas to the south, because the moisture was coming in earlier, would maybe see more accumulation from this because the moisture was going to coincide with the coldest part of the day. Now the moisture is moving north into the warmest part of the day in terms of solar radiation getting through, and so we're going to be battling that. But we've got a few things in our favor if you want to see some snowflakes east of say Rocky Mount to Lynchburg, and even in the Farmville and South Hill and South Boston and Charlotte Courthouse as well. We've got dynamic cooling going on. It's a big system. We've got dry air in place, and a lot of what you're seeing on the radar is not reaching the ground, and that's evaporating. That evaporative process, sorry for hitting my mic there, that process helps cool the air at the surface as well. I'm putting on the METARs. These are the official observations. You can see in Virginia, we don't have anything officially being reported by any of the surrounding airports and ob sites across the region. That's to our south. But I do think as the afternoon wears on over the next 2 or 3, maybe 4 hours, what we may see it, especially South Boston and the Charlotte Courthouse. I'm zooming in now from Farmville south on 360 in the South Boston, Clarksville, Chase City, Virgilina. That's the best chance of seeing some rain turning over to some maybe sleet pellets and maybe some heavier wet snow, if not at least mixing with some snowflakes into the afternoon. I'm going to show you here another map here. This is just to show you just how intense this storm system is, and you can see it here. This is the water vapor imagery, and you can see right there where my mouse cursor is, that is the upper level part of the system that's joining forces with the lower level part of the system. Now the low at the surface is off the coast of Wilmington, and that's going to deepen significantly. It's going to bomb out over the Atlantic Ocean, but interacting with that now, this was what was over Arkansas yesterday. We've got the upper low coming right out of Charlotte. So no question, that's why it snowed in Charlotte, because you had that cold air in place, but you also had all that energy in place from that spin itself, and then you've got the lift out ahead of it. But again, you can see right here, if I think I can zoom in even across the Virginia area, drier air across the NRV, drier air into the Roanoke Valley area, south central Virginia, maybe up to Nelson County, and areas to the north and east have a chance of seeing at least some wet snow. I don't know if it's going to stick or not, or be that big of a deal. Really don't think it will be because of the timing of this, but the Charlotte area definitely gets the golden early April snow shovel award from this system. You can see the low deepening off the coast. I've got some technical stuff here, but you can see the impressive rainfall and snowfall. It's not color coded here, but you can see that low deepening right there. It's impressive, and will continue to be something that's going to get stronger into the afternoon. So the rapid update cycle tries to indicate some snow into Henry County and Martinsville over the next 1 or 2 hours here. It's having a hard time doing so because it's a borderline event, right? In two ways. It's borderline in terms of temperature, and it's borderline in terms of track. So again, it's primarily from Rocky Mount to Bedford to Lynchburg, and then east into Martinsville and east into the southeast part of the area, an area that normally doesn't see most of the snow that we talk about in the middle of winter, let alone in early April. But as the low continues to pull away, notice those isobars right here, they get tighter, and we see more in the way of wind generated from that as well. I'm going to go to the updated high-res NAM, and you can see that's had a hard time too with any snow falling. It's pretty much painting all rain, but we know from ground truth it's been snowing in North Carolina. And again, between now and 4 or 5, we could see it in southeast parts of the area. What I wanted to show you here, wind gusting. over 40 to 70 miles per hour just offshore of the Outer Banks. Look at this. It's not a hurricane because it's a cold core system, but in terms of effects, in terms of overwash, in terms of coastal flooding, we're looking at hurricane force winds just off the coast later on tonight from the Outer Banks eastward, and even the Outer Banks, I think, gusting over 50 miles per hour. That's going to cause, as the storm comes off the coast, flooding not only onshore winds ahead of the storm right now, but offshore from the sound coming out of the west, 1 to 2 feet of water possibly flooding some of the low-lying areas, and 3 to 4 feet above normal in some areas, and waves. Look at that. That is, let's see, 86 knots. So those are winds that'll be gusting close to 100 miles per hour into the open waters of the Atlantic. Mariners certainly want to take note of that. There are hurricane force wind warnings up for that area, and seas of up to 30 feet. Waves on top of that. This is going to be something big, and rip currents, and maybe some, gale warnings, or rough craft, small craft advisory certainly possible up and down the northeast coast, although it appears to be just a little bit offshore for that. But this low really deepens across the area. It's pulling out the moisture right now from Columbia into the Rockingham area, but you can still see on the radar here, courtesy of WeatherTap, still some rain and snow falling. And then the Blacksburg radar is down, so I'm using Raleigh here, but you can see the spin going on and some banding going on just to the southeast of the area. So again, you can see through Charlotte County, Buckingham County, Appomattox County, just to the east of Appomattox, going into central Virginia. By the time it gets up here, it's going to be too warm. But again, we're on the borderline of this event. Just to show you the pressure deepening, this is the computer model forecast. You can see the storm that was just developing overnight last night, 1013 millibars. The bluer the circle and the more lines you see, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. So we go to like 15 millibars to 1006 to 998 to 993 to 989 to 987. And then to 985 as it becomes vertically stacked. And with that, I mean the storm in its mature stage. So you can see that thing just bombing out across the area. So I believe that's all I have for you. The NAM had a hard time with this as well. Earlier, it was more accurate, but it's having a hard time with that solar radiation that we've got in place. But you can see that northwest fringe across North Carolina with the snowfall there. That's the very latest. All this courtesy of Southern Trust Home Services. Give them a call at 208-3425. Tell them we saw this on Jamey Singleton's page. That helps me provide you with the most accurate weather information. Thanks so much for checking me out today, and I'll have more updates as we go, especially to more of a coastal system into the night tonight and into the day on Wednesday. Brought to you by Southern Trust Home Services. Give us a call at 540-208-3425. Get into a Southern state of mind.